Welcome everyone to Zoom into Books today. We have Dr. Linda J.M. Holloway with us to discuss the third book in her Little Miss Linda series. Little Miss Linda Speaks Out About Diversity, which received a 5-star review from Reader's Favorite. Welcome, Linda, to Zoom into Books.
Well, hello, everybody. It's so excited to be here. And thank you so much for having me again. I'm just really thoroughly enjoying it.
Absolutely. We're so happy to have you back. And to start off, I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and the inspiration for this edition of Little Miss Linda.
Thank you so much for that. I was born and reared in the great state of Mississippi, what we call down in the Delta, Mound Bayou, Mississippi. I was on a farm with my parents, 6 sisters, and 2 brothers. And I share that because I learned a lot of lessons while I was on the farm. I am a sister, I am a daughter, an aunt, and a friend. And I'm also a professor at Alabama State University in the area of counseling education. My area of interest is Black women and mental wellness. I'm a story activist, a spoken word artist, and I also have served over 27 years in the United States Army, where I deployed 4 times, 3 times to Iraq and Afghanistan. And I say that because one of my mottos is always willing to serve. And also, I have another motto called Dream Your Own Dream. I'm also an award-winning author. I published 5 books, and this is actually the 5th book. It is the last book that I published, which came out, I think, around the latter part of November, December. And so I wanted to bring this book on because I think it's a very timely topic to talk about diversity. What has motivated me to talk about diversity and in terms of this book is I have a ministry. It's called Women Without Limitations, and it's to educate, elevate, and empower women to be the best that they can be. But I've been teaching diversity for a very long time, and I just really love culture and trying to understand and being able to celebrate and to treat people with dignity, respect. So it led me to want to tell this story through the lenses of a child.
Linda, you've been on Zoom into Books 2 times now. This is your 3rd time, and your books are wonderful. They address real needs, real issues for lots of people. Today, we're going to be talking about diversity. And what aspects of diversity will you be addressing today?
Thank you for such a wonderful question, because diversity is a very huge term and it can deal with a lot of different things. But today we're going to take a look at colorism. And oftentimes people want to know, well, what exactly is colorism? Colorism is the preferential treatment of a person based on the color of their skin. You have light skin and dark skin, and usually the dark skinned people are discriminated against. And so we're going to be addressing the area of colorism. Actually, colorism was kind of brought into existence by around the, I would say around 1980s, early 80s. It was in a book, In Search of Our Mother's Garden. And so that's when colorism kind of really took off in that particular area, to talk about the light skin versus the dark skin.
I know that this is important in schools, in families. I know you're going to read the book for us, but can you tell us what colorism is?
Okay, colorism is the preferential treatment of treating people differently based on the color of their skin. And it's usually dark-skinned people are treated unequally. in terms of light-skinned people. This was a term that was coined by Alice Walker in the early 1980s in her book, In Search of Our Mother's, and let me say that again, In Search of Our Mother's Garden. So that's what we talk about when we deal with colorism. And you might want to know, like, why is colorism like really important? Like I said, it's preferential treatment. So people are actually discriminated against. It has a historical basis in terms of out of racism and colorism and back in the time of slavery, because the lighter skinned slaves were in the house and the darker skinned slaves were actually in the field. And so it is said that the lighter skin got better treatment, but we know that being in slavery was just harsh all the way around. But there were preferential treatment based on the color of people's skin. And so this trickled down into the communities. And they did such things as the bag test. And so they would literally put a bag up to a person. And if the person's skin was not lighter than the bag, darker than the bag, then they would not be able to participate in certain organizations and things of that nature. Also, lighter skinned people, because of the texture of their hair, they would do the comb test. And so if they could not, they would literally have a comb. And if they would walk through the door and their hair would get caught in the comb, then they could not enter this society or be a part of this organization. They also have what they call blue vein people. And what they would look for is under their arms, if they could see their blue veins. So it's all about being accepted, a sense of belongingness. And so even in the, I think it's around the 1940s, you had Kenneth Clark, Dr. Kenneth Clark and Mamie Clark did a study called the doll study. And in this particular study, they had two dolls. They were exactly alike. They had on the same clothes. The only thing that was different was the color of their skin. And they would ask both Black children and white children, who's the bad doll? And they consistently pick the dark-skinned doll. They said she was bad. They said the doll was bad. They said the doll was ugly. They said the doll was not smart. And they would just continuously ask these questions. Who's the prettiest doll? Who's the ugliest doll? Who's the bad doll? Who's the dirty doll? Now, neither of the dolls had anything on it. So they realized that this was very detrimental to dark-skinned children because they really just didn't like their pigmentation. But we lived in a world, as we do today, where the standard of beauty would be that you would have to be light-skinned, and that's how they describe beauty. They also had a nursery rhyme. It was called, and in this nursery rhyme, it was like, if you're Black, get back. If you're brown, you can stick around. But if you're yellow, you're metal. But if you're white, you're all right. So children was constantly being reminded about the color of their skin. And if you're dark skinned, you will not be accepted. And you said, why is this important? Because we want people to be able to celebrate who they are and to know that they are wonderfully and beautifully made, no matter what the color of their skin.
It's so true, and it's so nice that you have written this book. Would you like to tell us about this book now? You want to share your screen?
Okay, before I share my screen, I'm sure you've already noticed that there is a what? What is this, boys and girls? People that are on, right? Absolutely, it's a train. And so come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Aboard this train. This is the diversity train. We're going to take a diversity ride. And so now, as she said, I am super excited to share my screen. There we go. So the title of this book is Little Miss Linda Speaks Out About Diversity, which was written by Dr. Linda J.M. Holloway, and the illustrations was done by Ron Battle, who he has done a marvelous job with this particular book, Illustrate. And before we get started, we want to get things going. So when I say, I got a story to tell, you say, yes, you do. You got it? So I'm going to say, I got a story to tell, and you're going to say what? Yes, you do. Okay, let's try that. I got a story to tell. Yes, you do. Okay, now that was good for the people that are in the room. We want to do it for all the people all around the state. So I got a story to tell. Yes, you do. Good job. Now we want to do it for the folks that are in Africa, Asia, all around the world, because we're going to be talking about diversity. So when I say I got a story to tell, I want you to take the roof off. So all people all around the world can hear us. I got a story to tell. Yes, you do. Good job. You guys are marvelous. I just love it. Yay. So this story, it's about a little girl who's dark skinned. Her name is Little Miss Linda. Her father's in the Army, so she travels around the world. But when she's in school, a lot of the people tease her because of her dark skin. But she was able to celebrate her dark skin with the support of her parents. And she got the other children to understand that they were wonderfully and beautifully made. Okay. And can you see this? What is this? Absolutely, it's a microscope. So what we're going to do in this story, we're going to put a topic under the microscope so that we can see it for what it's worth. And sometimes that can be challenging, but when we look in there and we tell the truth, we can celebrate everyone. Thank you. And if I have any objects that I raise and you're not able to see it when we go back to the full screen, I will be more than happy to show it to you again. But you guys are doing a great job, though. So it's now time to stop, drop what we're doing, because it is reading time. Little Miss Linda's father was a soldier in the United States Army. She had traveled the world and lived in various places, including Japan, Korea, Philippines, Germany, and Alaska. Little Miss Linda had come to enjoy that every 3 years, her family would move to a new location. Okay, this is a military plane, a Jeep. Can you see that? Okay. What's this? I try to find a soldier. Yeah, good job. You guys are really good. And this is what? That's right, it's a plane. Well, they're traveling from place to place. And guess what? I have Little Miss Linda. What is this? That's right, I have Little Miss Linda luggage. But she has to pack everything every time she moves. Little Miss Linda's father had been in the Army for 17 years, and he wanted to retire and move back home near his family in the South. Little Miss Linda's mother had told him, when it's time for you to retire, I'm going to grant you your wish because you've served your country for 17 years. And she wanted more than anything to make her husband happy. Little Miss Linda's father called the family meeting to tell the family that his last duty station would be in Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Little Miss Linda and her siblings were super excited about the move. They were more excited about the fact that they finally would be able to relocate to a place and establish a foundation. They all said with a bit of relief, finally we'll get to stay at the same school for a while. So you can see that they are really happy. Little Miss Linda told her parents how difficult it had been for her to leave her old friends and try to make new friends every 3 years. She said, I am so excited about this move. Her father told her, he said, I understood. I appreciate how you have supported my military career. He stated there was nothing more important to him than to be able to have his family to support him while he served his country. Little Miss Linda told him she was so happy that they could always be together as a family. She wanted her high school years to be with her same friends. Her father hugged her and told her he understood. Little Miss Linda told her father she was very proud of him and how he had served his country. She said, you know, you are my hero. You are my role model. Her father grinned and said, little Miss Linda, you have really made my day. That's the greatest gift that anyone can hope for. Little Miss Linda was very excited about the move. She was looking forward to a new school. She was even more ecstatic about being able to make new friends. And as you can see, Little Miss Linda is writing in her journal. How many of you all have a journal? It's good to put your thoughts down. Little Miss Linda could not wait to leave her current school. She was tired of the children picking on her because of her dark complexion. Little Miss Linda did not share this with her parents. Every time she moved, children would tease her and make fun of her about her dark complexion. Her parents had always told her she was Black and beautifully made. Yet, deep down on the inside, she did not feel that way because the other children often made fun of her brown skin. Little Miss Linda made it a practice. Every day before she went to school, she would tell herself, I am Black and beautifully made. But this did not stop the other children at the school from teasing her and making her feel bad. There were times Little Miss Linda wished she was white because she felt that the other children would not tease her. Little Miss Linda would often take baths. She would try to wash her brown skin with Clorox and Ajax, hoping it would turn her skin white. She even used bleaching cream. So, what is this? Exactly, it's a mirror. So sometimes when you're feeling some kind of way, it's good to have a saying. And Little Miss Linda had a saying that she would look in the mirror and she would say, I am Black and I'm beautifully made. So she tried to cheer herself up. Okay, can you see this? You can't see it. Can you see it now? Okay, it's a baby in the bathtub. Good job. But what she would do when she got in the bath, she would actually use, can you see this? It's Clorox, right. What about this? Ajax. That's right, it's used for cleaning, not for you clean your body, but Little Miss Linda would use it. Now, I might show you some items that you may not be familiar with. You might be, but she used bleaching cream. That can change the color of your skin. These are different types of bleaching cream. It's got skin whitener, fades this color of your skin. And these are several things that you can buy, people would buy to change the color of their skin. Yeah. Because why do you think she did that? Because she wanted to be a lighter skinned person. When her parents discovered what she was doing, they had a serious talk with her to let her know that they loved her and she was Black and beautifully made. They instilled in her that God did not make any mistakes by creating her in a beautiful, wonderful brown skin. Her parents shared with her many Black role models so she could better appreciate her beautiful Black skin that she was born with. Her parents even took the time to go to school and speak to the school administrators. They supported the family and said they had no idea that the children were teasing and bullying Little Miss Linda about the color of her skin, but they assured Little Miss Linda parents that anyone caught teasing, they will be expelled from school. So when we do things that are not supportive of what we should be, teasing and bullying, we can be put out of school. And we don't want that. One night when little Miss Linda went to bed, she prayed to God to change the color of her skin to white so all the other children could accept her. She was hoping when she awoke the next day, she would be white. But when she looked in the mirror, she saw an ebony brown skinned girl looking back at her. Little Miss Linda said, I know you heard me, God, as you always does. I guess you made me the way you want me to be, Black, beautifully and wonderfully made. The first day of little Miss Linda attending her new school, she was so happy. She was not the only Black girl in her class. She even had a Black teacher. Little Miss Linda looked forward to going to school every day. She excelled in her classes. Her teachers encouraged her to continue to strive for success. Her parents were very proud to see little Miss Linda and her siblings adjusting well to the new environment. Her teacher stopped by to say hello, hello. One day when little Miss Linda was on her way to hang out with some friends after lunch, a group of boys began to make negative comments about her. She was approaching them. They stated, did you wake up this morning and burn your face? Did you wash your face with some black tar? Why don't you go back to Africa where you belong? They made these statements to little Miss Linda, and they were laughing so hard. Her friends wanted to fight those boys who was teasing little Miss Linda, but she convinced them fighting was not the answer. She told them, let's ignore them and keep on walking. Can you see these? They're boxing gloves. But then Miss Little Linda said, no, no fighting. I know sometimes it's kind of hard to walk away when people are saying things that are negative, but little Miss Linda did. I have something else I want to show you in it. Let me know if you can see it. Can you see it? Good job. What is it? That's right. It's a fireman suit. What do you do with fire? What does a fireman does? A fire person, should I say? They put out fires. And sometimes our tongue can be like a fire, can say things. But little Miss Linda was doing what? Exactly right. Putting out a fire by walking away. Good job. You guys are so smart. Her friends had a lot of respect for little Miss Linda. They admired how she often saw the good in most situations. It was no surprise that little Miss Linda was the first Black student to be elected student government president in the history of her school, because her ability to lead, to do right, even when doing wrong, seemed much easier. Little Miss Linda explained to her friends how her parents had told her what it means to be Black. She explained to them she was told she was Black and what? That's right, beautifully made. And guess what? Little Miss Linda stopped by today, the class, president, and she wants to say hello. Her friends told her they liked what she had said and agreed with the statement. However, they told her, we think we need to teach those boys a lesson so that they won't keep picking on you. After much debate, Linda was able to convince her friends that they should try to speak with the teacher. Little Miss Linda and her friends had a meeting with the teacher, and they explained what happened. Her teacher, Miss April, apologized for the boys' actions. She said, I need to do a better job of teaching diversity in the school. They all asked her, how do you plan on doing that? I'm going to learn about people and their culture and teach about them. But first, I must speak to the principal, Mary Vaughn, about this. Please provide me the names of those young boys. They responded to Miss April. Nah, we don't want to get them in trouble, but we want to see what changes you're gonna take place with the program you're gonna do. So the next day, Miss April, she taught the class about diversity and how all the races should appreciate each other. And when little Miss Linda's class was over, the atmosphere in the school, it changed some, but not a whole lot. Miss April gave all of the students an assignment that they would share with the class regarding the topic relating to diversity. The task was to write a paper or develop a project about what they learned through this process. Little Miss Linda was so excited about this idea, she shared it with her parents, and they asked, well, what are you planning on doing for your experience? She told them, I have the perfect exercise. I would teach a lesson using the candy Skittles. They asked, how would you do that? Little Miss Linda stated, I'm going to purchase everybody in the class a bag of Skittles. And I'm going to explain to them how all the Skittles get along, even though they are all different. Her parents both replied, that sounds clever, but we cannot wait to hear the rest of this story. So little Miss Linda began to share with her parents the story about the Skittle family. She said at first, the colorful Skittles did not like the brown Skittles. The colorful Skittles, they made fun, they teased them, and they would not play with them. Then one day, the brown Skittles, they built up enough courage, and they went to the colorful Skittles and told them, we'd like to play with you. And the colorful Skittles said, no, we cannot play with you. And the brown Skittle politely asked, why? And the colorful said, you are dirty, we are afraid of you, you're violent, and you're different. Can you see that? That's right. What are these? They are Skittles. Yeah, they are Skittles. Got some Skittles for you. How many of you all like Skittles? Yeah, I do too. The brown Skittles said, where did you all get all these ideas from? The colorful Skittles said, our parents told us. Well, the brown Skittles said, yes, we're a different color, but really, we're not that different than you. It's just that the covering is brown. The other brown Skittles said, yes, you're different. Not only are we a different color on the outside, but guess what? We are different on the inside. We are chocolate on the inside. Then the brown Skittles began to smile and say, just because we are brown on the outside, that does not mean we are different than you. We're just brown Skittles. We are chocolate on the inside. The other Skittles said, no way. That is not what we have been told. So the brown Skittles, they cracked their shells so the rest of the Skittles could see what they were made of on the inside. And to their surprise, they were filled with chocolate. They were so shocked, they could not believe their eyes. All those years they thought they were so different and better than the brown Skittles, but they were no different on the outside than they were on the inside. So the Skittles cracked their shells and they were chocolate on the inside. I know, yep, they make chocolate Skittles. All Skittles began to hug one another and say, we are brothers and sisters. The color Skittles said, we are so sorry we treated you different. You were brown on the outside. They lifted their voice in unison and said, we are all the same. We just have different coating on the outside. They were all smiling. They continued to hug one another. They realized they were just one big happy Skittle family. From that day forward, the colorful Skittles never treated the brown Skittles differently. They all agreed that they can go into the same bag. So now, when you buy a bag of Skittles, guess what? You have all different colors, what? In the what? Same bag. Yay! They are brothers and sisters. Little Miss Linda's parents were so impressed with the story, they volunteered to purchase the Skittles for all the children in the class. Little Miss Linda, she could not wait to share her story with her classmates. When she did, they loved the story, both the teachers and the classmates. They really, truly enjoyed that story. The group of boys in the class who had been giving her hard time, they spoke up and shared that the Skittle story had really touched their heart. Then they apologized to all the Black children in school, how they had been teasing and making fun. What a wonderful thing when you can tell a story to touch someone's heart, and they said that they were sorry. Little Miss Linda has never stopped telling the Skittle story. Even to this day, she goes all over the world telling her Skittle story to help people understand and appreciate each other. She calls her program Project Pride, people respecting individual differences every day. Little Miss Linda's message is simple. We all might be different on the outside, but on the inside, we are wonderfully and beautifully made. Can you say that? Wonderfully and beautifully made. So what is this? This is a mic. So she goes around to tell her story. Isn't that wonderful? And we have different shades of people. See, she's wonderfully and beautifully made. Different shades. Yep. Wonderfully and beautifully made. Little Miss Linda created a pledge card she gets students to sign. Her goal is to make the world for all people in all races and creeds of color and ethnicity to live in harmony. This is her pledge card, and she wants you to sign it today. So where it's got after I, you will put your name, and then you put your name and date. I, Linda Holloway, pledge on this day to never tease, make fun, or laugh, or bully another person because they are different than me. I will accept all people regardless of their race, color of their skin, or ethnicity. I will strive every day to make the world I live in a place to appreciate. Isn't that beautiful? But Miss Linda didn't stop there. Guess what? Miss Linda stopped by to teach you the Skittle dance today. Are you ready? I'm going to walk you through it. And then we're gonna all, I said, all do it together, right? Yep. So it's called the Skittle dance. Are you ready? Are you ready in the back? Say yes. Are you ready on the right? You ready on the right? You ready on the left? You ready in the front? Okay, it's time to do the Skittle dance. Okay, everybody. Clap your hands 2 times. Put your hands on your hip. Shake it to the right. Shake it to the left. Step back 2 times. Step to the front 2 times. Okay, now this is the crisscross. You put your right foot over your left and your left foot over the right. So next time when I say crisscross, you just put right foot over your left and your left foot over your right. Then you're going to turn around to your right. You guys are getting it. And then you will do the Skittle wiggle. Let me see you do the Skittle wiggle. And you just wiggle. You just wiggle all the way down. Y'all younger than me, so you're going to get on down with the Skittle wiggle. Just wiggle. And then when I say freeze, you stop. You got it? You guys did a great job. I know you're going to do well. Okay. Clap your hands 2 times. Put your hands on your hips. Shake it to the right. Shake it to the left. Step back 2 times. Step to the front 2 times. Crisscross, turn around. Let me see you do the Skittle wiggle. Skittle wiggle. Now freeze. Good job. Good job. She wanted to make a dance where everybody all around can do. So we're going to have a Skittle challenge one day. So you got it. Good job. Another thing is we do LOLs, which are learning out loud, where we try to go back and talk about the book. We talk about what is colorism. Has anyone teased you about the color of your skin? And so it just depends on the audience and the age, the type of questions that we have. So we included those. And it's a reader favorite 5-star. So thank you all so much for listening. You guys did a wonderful job. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
That was wonderful, Linda. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook. I want to remind you, if you have questions for Dr. Holloway, to go ahead and write them in the comments section. So for those who are watching, Linda, I'd like for you to hold up your props again. While you were reading the story, your picture was very little. So if you'll hold those up and talk about them a little bit, I think it'd be great.
Okay, thank you. This is a plane because she traveled all over the world with her father, who was in the what? Military. So he was a soldier. So try to. And then we have a pilot, soldier, a chief. But Miss Linda also stopped by. She dropped her luggage by because she had to pack her luggage.
And for those watching, they may not know that Dr. Holloway was also in service for 27 years. So when she's holding up Jeeps and planes and soldiers, she knows what she's talking about.
Thank you.
Right?
And sometimes when we talk about difficult topics, this is a microscope. We have to put it on the microscope, but we still have to talk about it. And remember, little Miss Linda, when she would take a bath, she would do what? She would use Clorox, try to lighten her skin, and she would also use Ajax. She also used bleaching cream. There's several things that you can buy in the store. Some of these have been banned, you know, because of the harshness on people. But it's skin whitener, fade spots. Another thing little Miss Linda would do was when she would get up in the morning, she would look in the mirror because her parents had told her she was black and beautifully made. So she would try to tell herself that so that she could feel good about it, even though she was being teased. Also, little Miss Linda, she kept a diary, a journal. And that's where she would write her thoughts when she was moving and just share. That's a good way to put your feelings down. And also the teacher stopped by. And little Miss Linda, she became the president of her school. And she was the first Black president, school president. So this is the class president. Then we wanted to show you like different shades of Blackness because they could be celebrated. And we have these gloves because a lot of times when people say mean things to us, treat us badly, we want to just give them a punch. But we're so happy that little Miss Linda told her friends, no, we're going to walk away and we're going to talk to the teacher. And they began to study and learn because they just really didn't know. Then we bought the fire person suit. Yep, got that. And it was just to illustrate because what do you do in the fire? You put out fires. But sometimes our tongue can be like a fire and we can say things and do things. And we just want to know that sometimes we need to stop, think about what we are saying because it can be harmful. And so little Miss Linda illustrated to us how we can put out fires with our mouth without, you know, treating people the way they treat us. And she did that through what? Her Skittles story. So she had very Skittles. And she explained that that is how all the Skittles happily live in the bag together. So when you get your bag of Skittles, just remember, they all get along. That's why they can be together in one big bag, like we are in the world. So we can get along. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful book. And the Skittles analogy is perfect. Just perfect for kids. What do you hope that children or adults will gain as a result to this book? I know that discussion is one thing. What other challenges have you had and results that you'd like to see?
Definitely, like you said, started the conversation and creating a safe and a brave place to realize that it can be. And there are different ways in which we can talk about diversity and to be able to have those discussions in a very positive light. So that is definitely one thing. And to identify that this is an issue, because people who are darker skinned, who are being teased, who are being alienated, impacts their self-esteem. It makes them feel bad. And to just really just so that people can celebrate one another, to let them know that they do have feelings and that we are really striving for the same thing. We all want the same thing: equality, justice. And when I think in terms of like, we use the colorism, but it could be somebody with disability. It could be somebody from who came from a different home, who's from a different country, that look different than us, that we need to try to get to know them and celebrate them. Because once the young boys you saw in the story, she tells the story with the Skittles, they had heard a lot of different things, but they were not true. And when they found out, they was like, you are my brother and sisters. We're alike. I know it seems really simple, but we've been striving for this as a country for years. And I think we need to keep reiterating, keep telling the stories, and keep, so that people can understand that we want to be celebrated for who we are.
Absolutely. That's very true. What did you find that gave you the most joy in this book?
The most joy was being able to tell the story and knowing that, because one thing I like about little Miss Linda, whatever challenges she faced, she flips it into something positive. And knowing that, creating a program called Project Pride, people respecting individual differences every day. And like I said, to start the conversation, to be able to say, accept you for who you are, and to be able to celebrate. I know it sounds really simplicity, but when you get out in the world, not everybody is going to do that. So I found joy in knowing that it had a heroic ending. It was not an ending where she took her life, or she continued to bleach her skin, or she continued to try to be, something that she wasn't. She was able to, because she had a support system where the teacher and the school and the administrator, everybody got involved. So I found joy in trying to bring those elements together, because oftentimes people think that the administrators does not support the parents and parents don't support the administrators. But we saw in this story that when her parents went to talk to them, they said, we're not going to tolerate this. And we also saw where the teacher wanted to say, what can I do? Let me do a lesson plan on this. So we see it's a community coming together to try to make a difference. Because oftentimes when we talk about diversity, we zero in on those people that are magnifying, and there are people that are out there who are trying to make a difference.
So true. And we hope that there are more and more of those people. What are some personal benefits for you with this book?
Personal benefit, because I am African American, and I do understand that we all come in different shades, and to know that there have been times in my life that people have, discriminated against me because of the pigmentation of my skin. And so being able to tell this story and put it out in the atmosphere and say, this is real. We're not talking about from 1619 when folks got off the slave, because people always like to say, well, that happened a long time ago. They don't happen now. It still does happen in today's society. So for me personally, is to be able to put the story out there, to start the conversation, and to know that this is still real and it still does happen to individuals within the community, outside of the community, and to have this discussion, because it's a very painful discussion, light skin versus dark skin in the Black community.
So you've written 5 children's books, and they're all the Little Miss Linda series. Is that correct?
Yeah, and when we think of series, oftentimes think there's a connection, but these are start and stop series. They don't connect. They're different stories about various things that either happen in the community or that I think that children need to be made aware of.
Do you have a copy of the book with you could hold up? It's a beautiful cover.
Yes,
Your
Mr. Ron Batter, he does a phenomenal job. I always tell him that he makes my words come alive, and I just enjoy the fact that he, in putting this cover together, he tried to have people from all around the world, you know, in terms of diversity. And you'll notice that they have hearts on them to show and celebrate love. So I just really appreciate that. So shout out to Mr. Ron Bell. Oftentimes the illustrator, the author gets to get out front, but as I mentioned to you before, it takes a village to produce a book. And he's done a phenomenal job.
You have to have a good story, and for children's books, it's the illustrations that makes it pop off the shelf. So what advice do you have? I know we always have a lot of first-time authors watching. What advice do you have for someone who would like to write a children's book?
I always say, remember the KISS principle, keep it sweet and simple, right? And as simple as that sounds, just write. Write something that stirs your heart, write something that you're passionate about, because you're going to be the one that tells the story. And the reason I say that, because a lot of times people start and stop and they want it to be perfect, but just begin to write, to put it out there. Don't be afraid to allow other people to look at your work. Make sure you can participate in a writer critique group where you can review it, to get you a good editor. I know we like to use English teachers and people that we know, and I'm learning this along the way, that to get you a good editor, and just move forward and step forward in doing that. And be okay to know that you're going to make some mistakes, but you can grow each time of the way. But just step out there and tell your story.
That's good advice for anyone thinking about writing a book. And another good tip is go to the library or the bookstores and read all the books you can that are like the book you want to write. That's good advice too. So what's next on the horizon for Dr. Holloway?
What's next is, I do have a book that I'm working on. It's called Bad Girls of Montgomery, and BAD stands for bold and determined. And these will be women who are not often spoken about when it comes to the Montgomery bus boycott movement. And so that's the next book that I have that's coming out. And also my books is for social emotional learning in the curriculum, is to continue to do deep dives with them. And as I try them out and try different things, to just continue to refine them and make them better, find different platforms in which I can get the story out. And I'm really grateful for Zoom and the book for allowing me to come on and share my story. And so just continue to try to market it, the book, and to get it in the hands of people and to tell the story. And to continue to hone my craft as a story activist.
Well, that's terrific. And we're going to look forward to that book. And I know that you are happy to do school visits, whether virtual or in person. I can't imagine how much fun your school visits are. You've got that train, I know you have a bus, and you've got all those wonderful props with you to help children visualize. Most of us are visual learners. So tell people how they can get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me at lindahollowayspeak.com. I say again, lindahollowayspeak.com. I say again, lindahollowayspeak.com.
Is it .com or at Gmail?
Oh, that's right, at gmail.com. Thank you. Thank you. Linda Holloway speak at gmail.com. I missed the Gmail part.
Well, it's important.
That is
And
important.
you can purchase put the links in the Facebook comments, and they'll also be posted at the end of this YouTube video. And Linda has a terrific author page on Amazon. You can read about her there. So Linda, I want to wish you the very best, and thank you so much for these fantastic, important children's books. And I hope to see you again soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Practice your Skittle dance because we're going to have a Skittle dance contest.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.